Yo, Rest Toasty here, back with some satisfactory. Today we're gonna do a big old factory for advanced aluminum stuff. I don't actually know what's going on, but I know this thing is important, and we got to do this stuff. I guess. So that will help us. We can make the fused modular frames and etc. Heat sinks maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know. I bought the radio control units because I didn't make those. What do you want? What do you want? No. I guess now the first thing I should do is go find somewhere to build my factory that I'm gonna do. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I think I'm gonna put it right around here, around these big old giant things with the different, like, tiers, I guess. Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, we will determine that later. Right now, we need to figure out what exactly we need to do to make all of the things. A fused modular frame is heavy modular frames and nitrogen gas. So we have to get some nitrogen gas up here. Let me see if I can find any nitrogen gas. One singular. Way out here on the edge of existence. 2 normal, 5 pure. That is sick. Okay, easy enough. Alright. I also want to make radio control units, which require computers and crystal oscillators, which means we need iron and quartz and copper and oil. I think I can find the iron and copper pretty easily down there, but then I have to find a way to get it up. Because, yeah, I can just drive like a truck across the desert area, but then how do I get it way up here? This is the next question. Or do I make my factory way over in that corner and make it a lot harder for the trains, but make it easier for the belting and the trucks? I think I make it over there in that corner, is what I'm gonna do. So now I have to get over to that corner. Maybe I destroy this oasis thing and put it over the water. That would be fun. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. But let's go back to looking at parts. We want maybe 5 fused modular frames, which means we need 125 nitrogen gas per minute. Yo, we're back in Excel. What is that? So, as you can see, I've got everything here. We've got all of our required resources and the resources required for those resources, etc., etc., all this stuff that we could ever possibly need. And this is all the machines we need. We need 12 smelters. I don't think it's 102. I think I meant to not do that. 3 foundries, not 102. 24 constructors-ish, give or take. 8-ish assemblers, 13-ish manufacturers, 4-ish refineries, and 2-ish blenders. So we do need kind of a lot, which isn't great. Of course, these are already being made elsewhere. This is easy. This is pretty easy. Actually, most of this is really easy to get. Really easy thing. Just gotta do it, you know? Just gotta do it. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it. Alright, so I do have all of the materials kind of set up. This one is obviously the most set up, given I haven't set up the truck things yet. I have here, this is going to be oil coming in. I didn't set up any roads or anything, since it's pretty easy to get trucks over this environment, over this terrain. We've also got these individual miners everywhere, like this one for copper, and these ones over here for iron, limestone, and coal. The only resource we haven't fully set up yet is the nitrogen gas, but that's pretty much just because I don't know how to do that one, or I can't do that one without providing power to the whatever the pressurizer is, which I can't do yet because I haven't set up the power and there isn't power here yet. I think I have a very strange idea for this factory, because there is a lot of stuff we have to do, and I did remember while I was thinking about how much of the smelting, like we have 11 smelters that we're gonna need at full capacity, like 24 constructors. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to set up blueprints for each part we need to make using this part of the list over here. So like we need 6.5 constructors for copper sheets, and if we look over here, that's 65 that we need to be making. So we can make a blueprint for this, we can make a blueprint for the 3 plates and the 2 rods, we can make a blueprint for the 5 screws, etc., etc. And then we can just put these together. And I was thinking that over here above this lake, we could have a bunch of like pillars with our little blueprints on top of them, just like scattered about wherever. And then we can have like belt bridges in between to connect them up. Basically, I think it could be really fun if we do it that way. So I want to try it. We're just gonna go ahead and get on with making the those blueprints. So I've gone ahead and built a quick little, just a small building to like design my blueprints in. It's nothing special, just a big old box. In here, since there are power nodes everywhere, we can also use the hover pack wherever and however we may need to. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to build a couple of like base pieces. We're building it in a very small swamp, so we need to have it on quote-unquote stilts. Can't afford, I'm out of stuff. Hard jello. Thank you. Let's not talk about that. Huge pillar bottom. Winky face. Huge pillar. And we can say huge pillar top. Winky face. So now we have 3 blueprints specifically and exclusively made for pillaring. We can just make pillars, make huge pillars, and we can build a factory on top of those. And now we want to build the actual factory parts. So we need quite a number of machines. We need 11 smelters. I'm not sure we can fit 11 smelters in one blueprint, but I can try. So something like this will give us all the smelters we need. So we've got these 5 on the bottom here for copper, and then these 6 over here for iron. So right here we'll have our copper, and then over here we'll have our iron. So it doesn't look super great on this side, but we've got our stuff, you know, like it functions. Do I want to try and fit 3 foundries in here? I think I could. I don't know if it's a good idea. Could be cool though. So, yes. Let's do that. So now you can kind of see what I'm talking about, what I'm doing. You kind of see what I'm doing here. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm getting at? Etc. stuff. Yeah. You know what I'm doing? Stuff like that, basically. Anyway, I'm gonna finish this one, and then I'm gonna do maybe some of the constructor ones, and I'll check back in whenever I do that. Yeah. So here's the iron constructors. It all comes in here, and I just realized I haven't finished it yet, but it all comes in here, and it'll spread out to all of these different constructors, and then it splits up there, because there's 8 down here. It splits up there to the last 2 that are in here somewhere. Up in here, we actually have a very strange setup. You would think that these 2 would be the same, but this one is screws and this one is rods. And it actually kind of connects from below. This one comes up with the plates in the middle. These 3 all do plates across here and then bring that up. This one does rods, and then the one above does rods. And then these 4 all do rods as well. So the power will come in here, the iron will go in there, all 188 of it from the other thing. Alright, so now we need to do the constructors for maybe the copper, because the copper sheets need 7, and then the wire and cable need another 3. So that's another 10, actually, yeah. So, we might just be able to do kind of the same thing and, like, rearrange some of the belts as we did with the iron one. So this is all the copper sheets coming in, or the copper ingots, and then that works, I guess. So we've got this one that is the copper sheets, and then this one that is the cable. Save the blueprint. We still need to do concrete, pipes, crystals, and beams, which tops out at 6 constructors total, which is, like, really unusually easy. But they do all take different things. The beams and the pipes take the same thing, but then the crystal and the concrete take 2 different things. As you can imagine, this is not going to be a very walkable factory, as per the fact that all of it's going to be separated. So these 3 all take steel, this one takes quartz, and then this one takes the limestone. Okay, what next? At this point, we're getting to where some of our things are end goal products. So one of our assemblers, or 2 of our assemblers, make the heat sinks, which is one of our end goal products, but also one of the intermediate ones. So we have one that would make 3 heat sinks per minute, that's just ours, and then 12 heat sinks per minute, that's for the cooling system. I think what we can do is we can have 2 heat sinks, or 1 assembler for the end product heat sinks, and then 2 for the mid product heat sinks. So I think we're gonna do some of the mid product assemblers. We've got some making boards, modular frames, encased beams, heat sinks, and reinforced plates. So I think now we're going to do the mid-product assemblers, the ones with the iron stuff mostly, in which case we need 5 assemblers, which isn't great because they are quite big. It's a little weird. I do have some labeling on this one because I might get confused. But we have here 3 for the reinforced iron plates instead of 2 because I needed a very specific amount in particular for each thing. These 2 right here make 3.75. That goes directly up to one of these modular frames ones, which I did have to overclock a little bit, but they take 3.75. And then the third one down here only makes 2.5, but that goes to the crystal oscillators, of which we only need 1 per minute, so 2.5 of this is fine per minute. This also goes up and out here next to the modular frames. I've got signs here that show which one is which. And then the screws also come out here because they go through the reinforced iron plates thing. But we are also using the screws for computers and heavy modular frames, so they come out here to be reused. So it's a little weird, but it works, I guess. The interesting thing we get into now is we're actually, I'm not sure where all of the belts need to go. So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna go do something in MS Paint because that sounds like a good idea for sure. So for instance, we can take the smelter thing, right? These 2 are inputs, and these 2 are also inputs of iron and coal, and then iron and copper. So we have to mark all of this. Like if I go into MS Paint, if I take like a square, then we can scroll too far apparently. Down here we can say this is the front. Over here we have both a copper output and a steel output, but the steel output is on top, right? So if I go to make another one, I can say there's a copper one down here and a steel one up here, and then there's an iron one on this side over here, so we can say that color, right? Yeah, that makes sense. And then we have the inputs there. I believe it's copper on the left. Good enough, I guess. And then there's an iron input right here. And then there's another iron input up here. and then a coal input right there, right? And this is our smelters. I don't think there's anything on any of the other sides, so we don't have to worry about any other things. And so basically what I'm doing here is I'm making different models of the inputs and outputs on each block, and then I can move those around so that they go where I want them to. So I'm just going to do that real quick with all the ones that we have now. I guess we'll workshop it as we go, moving stuff around as need be. So for now, we need to go to the next assembler thing. Intermediaries, such as the boards, encased beams, and heat sinks. Maybe we should start with the refineries, actually. That might be a better idea. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start with the refineries. We need technically 4. We need 3 for plastic and then 1 for rubber, and then we are gonna need more, so I might go ahead and make another one just for making fuel. But first, we have to make one for plastic and rubber, which isn't great considering we can't fit 4 on here. So this here will be the crude oil, which I can denote with my dark purple pipes. Okay, so that's done, right? Of course, I'm aware that these look incredibly bland at the moment, but that is going to change. We can alter them after we put them up. Let's clear this. So now we've got ourselves another little thing for things. Yeah, that's really cool, and I like that. Awesome. In the interest of time, I think I'm just going to speed run the rest of them. It's really just the same thing you've already seen before with more of the assemblers and the manufacturers, and then I'll come back and talk to y'all before I do the blenders, because those are big old new stuff, and I haven't done them yet. Alright, so I've finished those, the manufacturers and the assemblers here. This one, these 3, actually, these 3. I have this one for the crystal oscillators, and then this one that looks almost exactly the same for the radio control units. I did make that one, put that one together, but it really is just like one manufacturer in a box. Whereas these things, making the computers, the heavy modular frames, it has 2 manufacturers. For some reason on my list it said 6. I don't know why on my list it said 6, but here we just have a box with 2 manufacturers in it. But that is done now, and we just have to move on to the blender, of which we only need 2, actually. 1 for the fused modular frames, and 1 for the cooling system. I think I am just going to leave these ones open for fun, for big funsies, and do something like that, maybe. There you go, cooling system. Save the blueprint. Is that the whole factory? Aside from, like, the in-betweens? I think that's all of it. Alright, I'm gonna go, for one actually, I'm gonna go do my MS Paint stuff. Yeah. Here's our layout. It's, strange, to say the very least. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay out the base for this at the pond, and I'll check in when I'm done with that. Just about like this, I think is good. But this is the basic layout. We just have to put the factories on top. Like, that, maybe, a little bit. Now we just kind of have to connect them, like, in between, I guess. I'm just going to go ahead and connect these in between. I'm not going to connect the start ones yet, like how this one takes in the coal and the iron and the copper, etc. I'm not going to do that yet. I am going to connect the in-betweens. Baby, you give me ice and fire. Just a quick break. Our smelter factory just has some of these guys in there. I think they just spawn here, and based on their code, they have to spawn at the highest possible point, or whatever, so they spawn right here anytime I leave and come back. You saw earlier with that little short clip of me just knocking them off with the obelisks. Let's just cover that up. That's fun. We're not gonna worry about that. Alright, I think that's everything actually connected up. I did get some of these and bring them down lower towards the ground, but I haven't done that with all of them because I'm not sure yet what I'm gonna do with the aluminum stuff, the casing and the sheets that has to come here. Like, one of those needs to be aluminum casings, I think, and then the same with this one right here needs to be the aluminum casing. And I'm actually not going to turn this factory on today because I really just need more, I just need more power to run this. Pretty sure that's all of it connected, and it tops out at around 850, which is less than I expected, but still kind of a lot. So I don't want to deal with that right now. And of course, that's not including this and these and all of the miners or anything, because I don't have those connected up to power. But I think what I'm going to do is actually wait. I'm going to wait for update 8 to drop with the new power stuff they're doing, so I can run power out here on the big power towers that they have, and then I can rework my ridiculous power system that has become entirely and completely useless. So yeah, that should then be all for today. We made some blueprints, built a factory. The factory building part was actually considerably easier than normal because we did the factory building when we built the blueprints, which is highly irregular but a lot of fun. You should try it sometime. I'll come back next time and I think we're gonna do another power facility, I think. Should be a good idea. Maybe a fuel one, or maybe I just go straight into nuclear, but that's like really a lot. So instead of that, I'm just gonna build a big fuel power plant and then use that boon to make a nuclear power plant later after I get all this set up anyway. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe, leave a comment, and I will see you later.